Hey, Pepin.
Yo, yo.
You know, I've been thinking a lot lately about karma.
Karma?
Yeah, when you do bad things and you get bad things happening to you.
Well, it doesn't also tie in with good things as well.
Well, I guess, technically.
Man, you're so pessimistic.
Well, just today, because it's Saturday.
Oh, I guess it is Saturday, but what were you thinking about exactly with karma?
Well, I was thinking about how, things can be reciprocal, and when, if I do good things and put it out into the universe, will good things come back to me? What if bad things happen? Is that karma too?
Well, I really don't know. I think we need to talk.
Welcome back. So glad you guys could join us. I am here once again with my best friend, Nathan Pepin. How's it going, Pepin?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Not too bad. I'm really excited about today because we have on fellow podcasters from the area, Hannah and Courtney from the Damn You Diary. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good. Doing great. Glad to be here.
That's fantastic. We're definitely glad to have you. I think it'd be great to start. Tell us a little bit about what your show is about. I think it kind of ties in with karma really well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're definitely big supporters of positive karma. So our podcast is our chronicling our adventures to do some good in the world.
Yeah, we're trying to, like she said, put more good out there in return, or in hopes of getting
good stuff back
in return.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That sounds super selfish.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of it is doing good for our own personal enjoyment.
Right, but oftentimes other people benefit from our doing good for ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So collateral damage. That's perfect.
Yeah, in a positive way.
I love that you're upfront about the fact that you're doing it for you.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. When we decided that we were going to start a podcast, it was us being like, how can we make a difference? We're just sitting in our house, Netflix and hanging out, and what are we going to do? So we decided karma was the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I think that's a great reason to start a podcast. Nate and I started ours because I wanted to listen to myself talk. So I think you at least have a good premise to build on.
Yeah, well, we're not one to enjoy ourselves talking, but we're definitely growing into it. I mean, we're very new to the podcasting world, and we definitely appreciate you guys reaching out to us. It's so nice to find someone in the area, especially New Hampshire.
I know. Yeah, this has been really exciting because we've listened to podcasts, and that's what got us into it, is listening to other people's podcasts. And most of what we've listened to is, they're all over the country, obviously, but most of them are far away. So you don't think about, when we went into this, we weren't like, oh, maybe we'll meet some people local who do this. I don't know.
So it was great that you guys reached out to us for listening to your podcast, and you guys are awesome.
Yeah. The podcast community in general, I think, has been really great. There's so many supporters. Everybody wants to help each other out. And maybe kind of like our podcast, they're doing it for their own benefit. Well, I'll like you if you like me. And
exactly.
But it all works out for everybody.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Good juju in the world.
Yeah.
It's all about it.
So you guys are, I heard on your podcast, you're doing a karmic challenge, and you guys were trying to hug 100 people.
Yeah, that was our karma challenge. It was spend an hour in a public place giving hugs and high fives to strangers.
It's terrible.
Now,
Terrible.
What makes that necesserily good karma? What if the person doesn't want a hug? That's bad karma, isn't it?
Well, I think it's getting us
50 good hugs, 50 bad hugs?
Maybe. I know. And what we tried to be creative about it because we're not really comfortable with giving strangers hugs. No. It's flu season, and nobody likes a random stranger coming up to them being like, hey, can I have a hug?
Well, especially in New England,
yeah.
Maybe in other parts of the country where people are more welcoming to things like that. But we live in New England where people are not like, let me hug all the strangers on the street.
Yeah.
They're like, don't get that close to me.
I'll buy you a coffee. I will not hug you.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So we did get kind of creative. I ended up buying some Hershey's hugs, which are like the Hershey's Kisses, but they have the vanilla chocolate in there. So I ended up just walking around, and I turned into the crazy candy lady, and I was like, here's a hug for you, and here's a hug for you. If you don't want to eat it, that's totally fine. I'm not poisoning you.
I'm not poisoning.
I know. That's like a legitimate thing because
Oh my gosh.
like we did one karma challenge where I made a whole bunch of cookies and Courtney brought them to the police station in our town and we had this whole complex because
they like wanted, I walked in, I've never been in my town's police department because I don't have any reason to because I'm a nice person and I lived in a different town in high school.
And you got that good karma, so you've never had anything bad happen to you.
God.
We try.
I think all of the bad things that have happened to me are the main reason why I want to do more good things because my luck is not great. But the police department, they like took down my name, my address, like all of this information. I'm like, dude, I just want to give you cookies. Like,
we had this whole thing. We're like, what if they think we poisoned the cookies?
Yeah, they're probably following me out of here. Like,
right?
Did you like have to show any ID or anything?
No,
or did they just
but
take
they
you
wanted
at
my
like,
name,
this is my name and
full
address?
name and address.
What if you
But
were
then they
making
ended
it
up sending us a nice letter in the mail.
Yeah, they sent us
so.
a thank you letter, which was very, very touching.
It was.
It was, we posted it on our social media if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
But it was, thanks so much. People like you really give us encouragement. And when you're a police officer, especially in nowadays, I feel like they don't get any respect.
Right.
Do you feel like that was a waste of your karma? Like that was the karma you got back. You got a nice note. Now there it goes.
But a nice note made me feel good.
Yeah.
It put a smile on my face for the whole day. Because I was like, you know what? I made their day.
Right.
And I hope they actually ate the cookies.
Me too.
Because
There's a
you
lot of
poisoned
cookies. And they got a free Tupperware out of it. So
Oh, that's the real kick. Yeah.
Right. Bonus.
yeah. Screw the cookies.
This is quality Tupperware right here.
So do you guys just talk about the karma things that you've done, or is there something more to the show?
No, we definitely try to discover new things. So we like to discover stories online or from word of mouth about things that we didn't know about or things that we think we know about, and we dive more into it. We've done paranormal stories. We've done murder stories. We've covered all kinds of things. Aliens.
Yeah.
Poltergeists.
We've done some like more current events, like things that are kind of being talked about in the news, but not like the mainstream stuff, like the stuff that's kind of in the background that is probably more interesting when they're talking about on the news.
Yeah,
so
the stuff that slips through the cracks.
Yeah, we try to keep a wide range of topics and things that we can talk about because we have a wide range of interests. So if we keep it, we're very interested in like the paranormal and the murders and things like that. But if we just talk about that, eventually we're going to run dry on ideas and get bored. So this gives us a...
And I think one of the things that I really wanted to do with the podcast was chronicle my life right now. Yeah. I really enjoy the fact that we're going to have these audio recordings for years to come. And I think when we're 60, 70, or our grandkids get a hold of them, could you imagine being like, oh, remember that time, like, Grandma was talking about this stupid shit on her stupid podcast, like, the podcast, they're probably like, oh, they don't even do podcasts anymore. They just shoot that shit into your brain. I don't know.
If your grandma had a podcast, would you listen to it?
I would definitely listen to it.
Absolutely.
And that's interesting because I never knew my grandparents. They all passed away before I was alive. So... who's to say that's not going to happen? It's a little piece of history that we're chronicling, and we get our friends involved. We have a lot of musicians. We're reaching out to a lot of local podcasts, such as you guys. And it's been amazing.
Yeah, it really has.
The support from everyone has been
surprisingly
amazing.
A lot more than I expected to get out of it.
Oh, yeah.
It started as just like, well, we sit on the couch and talk on Friday nights anyway, so why don't we record ourselves doing it?
Yep.
And now we're getting a little more invested and enjoying it, and people around us are into it. Like I told you before, we don't advertise this a lot, like on a personal level. Like the people I work with don't know that I have this. Like I recently put it on my Instagram, which doesn't have a ton of people that I am very close with, but we've been talking about it more with our friends, and our friends are into it and helping us out as far as sending us music clips or wanting to be involved in some way. We have a friend who wants us to give her a whole list of good deeds that she has to accomplish within this time frame, and she's going to record little snippets of herself doing it. So we've got all these like really great pieces of input from the people around us.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. We have a lot of ideas, and the Damn You Diary aspect, or the diary aspect of it, is really nice because it doesn't, like I said, pigeonhole us to anything.
Right.
Now, when I mentioned you guys to Nathan first, he responded and said, "Oh, so they're vegan," and I'm like, What?
Damn you, dairy.
That's
I didn't even think of that.
So lactose intolerant.
I'm like, what does this have to do with vegans?
Oh my god, that is
He's like, well, they
funny.
don't like dairy. I'm like, Nathan, you're missing the point.
That's so funny because on Twitter we have, the hashtag damn you diary, and all of the hashtags that come up are people misspelling diary for dairy. So it's like yogurt gave me a stomach ache, damn you diary. It's like, what?
Now that is some unique marketing. right there.
We're out there for sure. But, it's funny that you bring that up because it's something that we've come across with our name before. But we're not vegan. I don't have the strain for that.
No, I like ice cream.
I like cheese.
That too.
I was very confused. I read the whole podcast interview on Listen Notes.
Yeah.
And I was just waiting for the dairy to come up somewhere. I'm like,
You're like, weird, they're not talking about dairy anyway.
They
You'd
don't
think
like
that'd be
dairy.
central to the show.
Could you imagine if we had a whole dairy podcast? Like, what would we talk about?
Now you have to have an episode called Damn You Dairy.
Yeah,
I could make that
Just
work.
one episode.
we totally could.
We'll have a cow on as a guest.
I know a lady who has a farm, so we're all set.
See, we're already halfway there.
We'll interview
Go
the
out and
cows.
interview a cow. Do you enjoy being a milking cow? Does it hurt?
Would you prefer to be a beef cow?
I don't think they'd ever prefer to be a beef cow.
See, I love this because this is you guys' show is kind of similar to ours in the fact that you're two best friends having a conversation, and that really does come across in your show, and I love that. I think that's an outstanding premise to have, and I think it comes across really well in the show. And I highly suggest anyone who hasn't listened to the show, stop this one right. No. Listen to this one.
Listen to this one.
Then
and
go.
There you go.
Subscribe to Damn You Diary.
Oh, thank
leave
you.
them a little comment on Facebook. Leave them something on Twitter, Instagram.
And we're all about
iTunes. Give an iTunes review. First review us, then review them.
there you
Us
go.
first.
Yeah, absolutely.
But don't forget us.
Yeah, don't forget us. That's awesome.
So I'm really excited to have you guys on. Let's kind of delve into this topic a little bit. So you guys' reasoning behind doing these good things, going out of your way to do these good things, is completely selfish, which kind of negates everything I was going to say, because I don't like the idea of karma because I feel it is a selfish thing. Like, you shouldn't do good things just to have good things come back to you on a moral, base level. But you guys are you're super upfront about it. So like, I have nowhere to go with that.
But I mean, to an extent, like as much as it is about like getting good feedback, good energy back to us, it does make me feel good to make somebody else happy. Like,
yeah. And I think we miss that sometimes because we get into a routine. You wake up, you go to work, you come home, you do your chores, wash the dishes, fall asleep, rinse, repeat. You know what I mean? And we wanted to break that cycle. And sometimes it's just a matter of going into your kitchen and spelling your name with silverware, or sending a letter, or baking cookies to your police station.
Two of those three things sound like they're karma related.
And I think it's karma related, but it's also self-soothing to do something that you wouldn't think to normally do. Like, how many times have you ever gone into your kitchen and you're like, I'm going to spell my name with a fork and some silverware?
Exactly 0 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no.
Exactly. I would have never done it if it wasn't on the calendar.
right. But we had a lot of fun with it. And like
Yeah.
we had tried to have a conversation back and forth that we did not get very far in because like
you had a
get,
conversation
hey, so-
through making words.
And
With,
Yes.
we sent pictures back and forth to each other because we were snowed in at our separate houses. And we,
So we're like, hi, Courtney.
yeah.
What's up? It was a very
like, sup
simple.
with a question mark.
that's the
NM
longest
you.
way to have a conversation possible.
It dwindled very quickly.
Yeah.
But we did it.
We did it.
And that's all that matters.
a question I have, and maybe this is where my lack of knowledge of what karma is. Like, it's doing something good, right? But how do you know if something's good?
I think it's about how it makes you feel. You know what I mean?
So if you're a murderer and it makes you feel good, that's a good thing.
Okay, now
man.
we're talking about the
Man,
separate
I feel
spectrum of
I
things.
feel good when I poison the cops.
I think it has to
Just
make
for the record, I didn't poison anyone. I feel like
But we
that's a
had a long
common theme that we have
conversation.
going on, but I promise I'm never going to poison anyone.
well, because I'm like, I would never, but I didn't bake the cookies, so I have no way of saying whether or not these cookies are poisoned because Hannah baked them. I had nothing to do with the process. So she could be sabotaging me so she can have the podcast all to herself.
And that's where paranoia comes in, kids.
Man, there was something else in those cookies.
That's funny.
So, Nate, you're getting at the fact that good and evil is subjective.
Not that it's subjective, but for me, it's like it's hard for me to know what will do good. Like the example of giving people hugs or making cookies for somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good. I mean,
I guess it's
you can
necessarily
assume it
the
is.
feeling that you get when you receive a cookie. So say you are at work and you're a police officer, and I feel like that's a very thankless job sometimes, you know, especially in today's climate. And these random girls from your local community, which you protect, essentially, come in and just want to say, hey, thanks for doing your job. Like, thank you for being responsible and taking care of people who sometimes need your help in their worst moments. And for them, I feel like it gives them that respect of like, okay, people do fucking care about us. Right. And sometimes you don't get that. Like, we left a note for the mailman and he left me a note back saying, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And it was just a note being like, thanks for delivering my mail.
Yeah.
And I like to think that it made his day. And so that makes me feel good. So in a way, it is kind of, you know, selfish because we are getting gratification from it. But when we record this and you guys listen to it, some people are sitting in their house going, man, I kind of feel the same way. Like, I want to do good things, but it's really hard. It's not like you're going to get up and, you know, organize a function where you're going to make millions of dollars and donate it and build someone's house, or, you know, like big grand displays of charity. It's not about that. It's like the little things that turn the table in your direction, I guess. So that's where the karma aspect kind of comes into it.
So for other people especially, the big kind of factor in there is whether they will appreciate it or whether it's easily predicted. Because I could see a police officer definitely appreciating some cookies or something.
Yeah.
It's not something good because a lot of times, they're not very appreciated.
Yeah.
But I can imagine some other instances where it's like I used to work at a Dunkin' Donuts, and people would sometimes like give you like weird things through like.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't want this. Are you poisoning me?
It's like, oh, here's some mints. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know sometimes, and you know what, and that's where the selfish aspect is because he got more gratification out of giving you mints than you got receiving those mints. So, and just like when it comes back to the hugs or the high fives, if I was in the person giving the hugs and someone came up to me and was like, can I hug you? I would say absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. And that's where the introvert in me comes out because I am very introverted. I'm not a super outgoing social person. So this podcast has really given us that push to go out and communicate with people that we normally wouldn't.
Right.
Like, would I 3 months ago have ever met these two wonderful guys on the internet who have another podcast and go record with them? Like, never. I would have never found myself in this situation 3 months ago.
Right.
So,
and if we commit to doing things on the podcast, like in our recent one, which isn't out yet, we talked about a challenge that we have at the end of the month, and we added on to, you know, they give us this small thing that we're supposed to do and we add on to it. So now we've committed ourselves to doing twice what the calendar is telling us to do. But we've committed to it on air. So now we're going to do it. And that, like Hannah said, gives us the extra push that we need to
come out of our shells a little bit.
Because I feel like in the general, we're decent people at the very least.
On the grand spectrum, I feel like we're really nice people. But sometimes that's just like a basic level of nice. Because we're, you know, we criticize and we have judgments like everybody else. We are human. We're not perfect by any means. But hearing someone try to be good, it encourages people like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm going to hold the door for a little old lady, or, you know, just give that extra smile to someone who looks like they're having a miserable day.
Yeah, like your toll booth driver. Be nice to your toll booth driver, or not toll booth driver. Collector. Yeah, toll booth guy.
You know,
lady,
those traveling
person.
toll booths.
They come out of nowhere.
I'm the toll booth driver, I think. So the person who takes my money at the tolls, be nice to them.
There you go.
Well, I think it's fair that should be reciprocal. They should be nice to you as well.
Right? And that's true. You got through the toll once when you didn't even have money.
I did. And I gave the toll booth person a box of chocolates the next time I went through. It's a different person.
Yeah.
But
but the effort was
See, that's
there.
what I mean.
It's all
Somebody
about,
reaped the benefits.
yeah, it's all about the effort. It's just making that little bit of effort to go above and beyond just your average everyday routine.
Yeah.
And then we talk about it, and I think a lot of people can relate.
For sure.
I can't say that I'm a very good person then. I don't really. It's like, I'm trying to think. Do I go above and beyond? Do I give people chocolates?
No. Nobody does.
You're
It's
extraordinarily kind to everyone, though.
Okay, so
You'll go the extra mile in starting a conversation or giving somebody a smile or something like that, which for somebody like me, that's very difficult. So I don't do that. I would rather give somebody a box of chocolates because then I can just do one little thing and walk away.
Yeah.
But it's a lot for me to have to actually have an interaction with somebody. I'm very bad at that.
I'm the exact same way. That's why I sent her with the cookies. Yeah. Like, I'll make the cookies and she can deliver
well, I
them.
guess I'll participate somehow. Drop them off at the police station. I pulled up. I'm like, I don't even know what door to go in. Like, I walked into this very dark room with a door in front of me and a dark window to my side. And I was like knocking on the door, trying to turn the handle. Somebody came in, didn't turn the lights on behind the window. I was like, your name? Last name? I'm like, oh my God. I just want to give you cookies, I swear.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think it's one of those things where you can say, oh, I don't go above and beyond, so I'm a bad person. I definitely don't think that's the case.
No.
Because first impressions of you guys, you're great people. You've been nice since the first time we met. So,
No, well, Nate is a bad person.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
don't get me wrong. He's a bad person.
Oh, so he's really good at fooling people then, I guess.
That's part of the being
He's a
bad.
trickster.
oh, it's like I saw this lady. She had all this water she was trying to carry to her car. And so I offered to help her carry it, not because I wanted to help her, but because I didn't want to watch how awkward it'd be for her to carry that to her car.
Right. Then you're obligated to call 911 when she breaks her back and her like slips on the floor or something.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. It's all the negative repercussions, or like someone is doing something dangerous. I'm like, oh, hey, be careful there.
Yeah.
It's like I don't really want to help him out, but it's like,
don't
okay,
want
if I see him fall, I'm kind of half gonna call, right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we all feel that way sometimes.
Absolutely.
Karma is definitely an interesting thing. It has a lot of like religious aspects in Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, etc. There's some in Christianity. You reap what you sow. There's like 4 or 5 different passages that all say pretty much that same thing. But then some of them have a what's it called when you're reincarnated? They have like a reincarnation aspect where when you're done with this life, if you were a bad boy or a bad girl, it's hitting you in the next life.
Right. You're going to be born as a cockroach
Yeah.
or something, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes it does change like what you are in the next life. And sometimes it just changes your fortune in the next life, which brings up an interesting paradox of free will so let's say this is, I was reincarnated into who I am today, and I had built up all of this bad karma in my last 3 lives, like all this negative karma. Like maybe I was Hitler a little while ago. I don't know.
We never know,
But like, Nate, it's possible. Okay, I was Hitler in another
Anything's
life, possibly. So if that was the case, I would get all of this bad stuff happening to me, even if I was good now, right?
In theory, yeah.
So where's the free will? Where's the incentive for me to do good things if I already have all this bad stuff hanging over my head and there's nothing I can do?
Well, I think that's where you're thinking of like a higher power. And we're trying to think of it as you are the power. So it's not necessarily like our existence is being dictated for us. Like, you have control. Like, you may have had 3 lives where you did super shitty shit, but you have this life right now, and you can still do shady shit, or you can sit on your couch and not talk to people, or you can make an effort. So I feel like you always have that ability to change who you are and like how you're perceived from society. So we definitely don't necessarily have a religious aspect to our karma challenges. It's more of us just trying to grow and be good people. And I think that the positive feedback that we get from people that we meet solidifies the karma aspect of it.
Right. It's not like since we started doing this and we're trying to put more good out into the world, all this great stuff has happened to us. By no means has that
We
happened.
still have bad luck
I still had a rock smash my windshield again. So
for the third time. Bad stuff still happens, but
does.
we like to think that we counteract the bad stuff with the good stuff, because we can get all bummed out about a cracked windshield or a bad day at work or a guy that cuts us off on the highway. Like, I've had my moments, I'm road raging, but then, you know, you just think about it and you're like, you know what, am I going to let this ruin my whole day? And that's where I'm like, nope. I like, for my own sake, back to the selfish thing, like, I don't want to be a miserable oaf.
yeah.
So,
And some days it still happens.
Yeah.
One bad thing starts off my day and I'm in a terrible mood, but I try to be cognizant of it.
yeah.
Like the day that person let me go through the toll booth when I didn't have my change. That was a very bad morning for me. And I was cursing at people on the highway, like not at them.
nicest
They didn't
person
know I
ever.
was doing it, but I was doing it to myself and like pointing at them with my eyes. But then I went through the toll booth.
I just wonder how you point with someone with your eye.
It takes a lot of skill.
Stink
Hannah.
eye.
Yeah, exactly. And then you yell kind of on your breath. It's never mind. But that was my morning. And then I went to the toll, up to the toll, and I was like, I don't have money. Can I just have a receipt for the 75 cents? And she was like, actually, somebody overpaid me. It's your lucky day. And I was like, all right, I need to turn my attitude around right now.
Yeah, because, and I'm sure she felt good about doing that for you.
Right.
Because I can imagine you probably pulled up with the deer in the headlights look, like, holy shit, they're going to send me to prison. Like, I don't have 75 cents. I'm so sorry.
I need to get a freaking easy pass.
Yeah, you do. You got to come into the 21st century.
But then
my
I can
friend.
never pay for somebody behind me at the toll booth again.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
Which we
like
do
my
that a lot,
go-to
too.
good thing. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't do anything else good this week, so I'll pay for the person behind me.
Nate, I'm interested into what your thoughts are as far as karma goes. I know you and I had talked very, very briefly about this beforehand, and you had said that you were hoping to get some sort of a definition. I think we've kind of covered more or less what the idea of karma is. What are you thinking right now?
I'm still thinking because like karma to me is very connected to like the spiritual like word, like that's the connotation for me. And I'm not 100% that karma exists.
Okay,
like,
how about this?
even on a personal level?
Okay.
Like
Well, that's fair.
I think it does to some degree. Like I'm nice to you, you're nice to me back. So that if you're a complete douche, like people will be douchey to you back. Like it's kind of in that way.
Yeah, that's like the you get what you give kind of idea.
But that's more just like I don't think it's like anything that's necessitated. I think it's just kind of how society has evolved, or society has kind of structured itself. Because if you're a douche and people are nice back to you, then it just encourages more douches.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's an aspect that you could think of too.
Yeah.
And now there is a psychological aspect to this, so I'm definitely glad that you haven't seen it. I figured you'd bring it up on your own.
Oh.
But the psychological aspect comes in where a lot of psychologists will say that it's all about mindset. So you can have something good or bad happen to you, and how you perceive it can change whether it was a good or a bad thing that happened to you. So if something bad happens, but you have a positive attitude about it, maybe that's because you just have a positive attitude. So the idea of giving off positive vibes reciprocates within your own mind, because it's just how you view the world. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, that good things happening to you might be just because that's how your mind is framed.
Yeah. I definitely think of it too as like someone who automatically jumps to the pessimistic point of view, or if anyone deals with depression, especially in New Hampshire when there's like no sun,
Yeah.
you get in the funky moods where just like anything and everything, even if it's the best thing that happened to you, you're just like, this is awful. And I suffer from that a lot myself. So doing these little karma challenges, or like you said, changing your perspective on how you perceive things, it helps. It helps because you can take one thing and it could be the worst thing that's ever happened to you, or you can take it as, this happened to me, it sucks, but tomorrow something great might happen.
Right.
So it's an outlook kind of thing.
Yeah. And you learn from all things that happen to you, or you should. I mean, to an extent, not to say that I do all the time, but that's, again, kind of part of changing your mindset, in that, yeah, that might have been really bad, but what did you do that you could have done differently. And
and I think a lot of that too comes with age. Like, I just reached my 30s, you know, and I feel like I reflect more on my 20s as like, wow, how stupid was I, kind of thing. Or you just like go through these years of your life where you're like, I didn't do anything. Like, I went to school, I went to work, I paid my bills, and I'm alive still, so that's good. But what did you do? And I like to think that after we do these challenges, or we talk and we meet people and we talk to different podcasters, we kind of come out of it as like, we made something good. We changed our perspective on something.
Yeah.
So that's really all you can do.
So there's something to be said about karma in that if you do nothing, it's not good or bad karma. So to have good karma, it's not just, minding your own business and being good in your own life. It's actually a step above that of going above and beyond.
Exactly. And perceiving things that just because something bad happens to you, it's not necessarily personal.
Right.
Sometimes if something bad happens to me or I get down on myself, I'm like, I asked for this. Like, what did I do to piss somebody off, to like spite me in such a way?
Well, that's what you get for being Hitler in your last life.
Exactly. But if you have that mindset of like, okay, well, I used to be Hitler, so as long as I'm not killing people, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good in comparison.
Doing better than I did last time.
And that's your perspective on it. You're like, wow, I'm really getting up, Next time, I won't be a jerk,
Next time, maybe I'll even be a little nice.
Goddamn reincarnated Mother Teresa next time.
Or maybe you'll be a cockroach. Who knows?
Yeah. Definitely don't want to take the religious approach to karma. Like you had mentioned, karma means a lot to many different religions. And if you take out the religion aspect of it, karma is essentially to us just being nice.
Yeah.
And when you dumb it down like that, it's not that hard.
No, there's all different ways that you can look at it, and it's going to mean something different to everybody. But yeah, it's all about your perspective on it. And for us, it's doing good to feel good.
Yeah. The selfish karma.
Yeah.
So contradictory.
The most selfish, nice thing we've ever done.
Yes.
It's weird that we found somebody more selfish than me, Nate.
No, we can give you a run for your money.
Yeah, you have no idea.
I'm an only child. Okay.
She's definitely an only child.
So I think my mind's been changed a bit because I have realized there might be a way to gain karma, and that way might be by giving us a like on Facebook.
Or you can retweet us on Twitter at WNTT1.
Also, Facebook's that We Need to Talk show.
We do have a Patreon page if you want to hit us up there. Think of how good your karma could be if you gave us a bunch of money. I mean, outstanding.
That's setting you up for pretty good karma.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Now, some also pretty good karma you could gain is by subscribing to Damn You Diary. You can find it at
damnyoudiary@gmail.com is our email, but we also have damnyoudiary.com, which is our website.
You can find all kinds of fun stuff there.
Yeah. And then we're on all the regular avenues. We got iTunes, Stitcher, Blueberry, all the fun stuff.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Listen notes.
Yeah,
Just gonna throw that one in there.
Yeah, we got interviewed by Listen Notes, that was cool. So you can find us there. Yeah, and pretty much if you freak out and you have like a brain fart and you don't know what to do, just Google Damn You Diary. We've literally taken over that Google
we're
page.
the only ones.
And of course, we'll have a link in the description of this episode to your website, and that way we can get some people over that way. Now, you guys release on Mondays.
Yes.
Just like us. So if you guys, that should be pretty easy for our listeners to remember.
Heck yeah.
Is after you finish listening to our episode, you can listen to theirs or vice versa.
Yeah.
There's no wrong way to listen.
Exactly.
Just like eating a Reese's.
Oh, there's definitely a wrong way to eat a Reese's.
Please explain.
Oh, okay. Well, if you punch out all of the peanut butter and you're only left with that chocolate rim, you're screwing up the equilibrium of the Reese's cup.
Well, yeah, but maybe you like more chocolate, or maybe you like more of the peanut butter. So, like, I would love to have just the center without the outside. And
I like to eat the outside and then eat the middle.
See? There's no wrong way. There's no wrong way. Just eat a Reese's, guys.
I just learned so much about you guys, and I'm not sure I like it.
You know what?
Well, get over it.
Okay. I'm over it.
I never thought we'd talk about this. I think we need to talk. you love gaming, well, so do we. And that's why we think you love 3-Player Co-op. 3-Player Co-op is a podcast where people talk about games, discuss life, and have fun. You can find them at tpcnetwork.com.